What's up, everybody? This is Zach with the Nerd Cave Podcast. Today is episode 231. I'm joined along with, as always, the bearded sultan himself,
Robbie Ross.
How you doing, Rob?
Doing pretty good, man. So
You bearing through it?
barely making it through it. Funny story.
Oh.
Last week I wasn't here. I was on vacation up in the mountains of Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. Did you hear banjo music the whole time?
I did. This one dude with one tooth asked me how I was doing, and I just drove the opposite way.
Did he say you got pretty mouth?
He did, and he was talking about his pigs. And I was just like, no, I've seen this movie. No. Found out, definitely should lock your doors while you're in the mountains. You should lock your doors no matter what.
Yeah.
But after a 8-hour trip, really had to use the bathroom, so my mind wasn't in the mindset of, let's hurry up and lock the door so I can go pee. Well, I go and pee.
Yeah.
And we use our friends' vehicles because they were,
You peed in a friend's vehicle?
Exactly. I didn't even make it to the bathroom.
Wow.
No. Use the
That's
bathroom.
a good friend, because I wouldn't let you pee in my vehicle.
I'd be
like, use the great outdoors. You're out here, man. Pee out in the woods. The outdoor experience starts now.
I used the bathroom in our cabin.
Okay.
And then we used our friends' vehicles because they were 4-door,
all terrain.
Yes, and they did the mountains better. But anyway, so didn't even get into mine or get into Holly's car at all. Mm-hmm. So we go through the day. We wake up the next morning, and my friend Ryan comes down the stairs. She's like, "Did y'all leave your door open last night?" I was like, "No, no, we didn't." So I go outside, and it's snowing. It's about 20.
Is this in the car? Like the car door has been unlocked? Or is it the cabin door?
No, the car. My car.
Okay.
Holly's car is unlocked.
Mm-hmm.
The door is open.
Yeah.
So I'm walking outside, and like I said, it's snowing. It's about 22, 23 degrees.
Yeah.
And I hear doors open, so I threw on my basketball shorts, flip-flops, and T-shirts because I'm still in Florida mentality.
Yeah.
Rudely awakened when I got out there, but I was already
shriveling going on.
I had to bear on through it.
Yeah.
Well, I get there, and I'm seeing mud on the side of the vehicle, and I see this perfect imprint of a bear print on her seat. A bear opened up the door, got into her car, mud all over the inside of the car. Got everything cleaned out for the most part, but I called the sheriff, and he was like, unfortunately, that's a common occurrence up there. He's like, you just gotta make sure you lock your door. I was like, thank you. Thank you for that. Those words of wisdom, officer. But it was just crazy how smart bears are up there. Like they said that they're just the mentality of the black bears up there are just big raccoons. They go through your garbage, they'll whatever. And turns out, they smelled food. There's no food in Holly's car because we brought.
Yeah, but y'all might have eaten in there.
No, our friend Blake in the car next to us. That's my stomach. I'm kind of hungry. But spilt Funyuns in his freaking car. And, there was a handprint on his car. They couldn't get in. So they're like, oh, well, since we can't get in the Funyun car, we'll see what's in this car. So they open our door, and there's obviously no food.
Are there talking bears up there?
They are. It's Yogi and Boo Boo.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like Fozzie Bear.
Well, later on, I think it was Saturday, or no, it was probably Monday. Mm-hmm. As we're driving, through the mountains, we saw another black bear. I rolled down my window and gave that bear what I, thought of him. Yeah. His bear.
Where he can go and what he can do when he gets there. Yeah.
They're like, why are you yelling at the bear? I was like, this is payback. This might not be the same bear.
The bear goes to his wife and
you know what just happened to me today?
This human, this hairy human, I thought he was a bear himself, in a different sense. He yelled at me today, Margaret. He yelled at me. Doug, it will be okay. She reassures him, Like he goes like drinks a bottle of scotch. Like shaking, you've shaken up Doug the bear.
He can't deal with it anymore. But I did have this is how good of friends I have. They're like, "Are you sure you just didn't go out there shirtless one night?" So I have a lot of funny friends. But yeah, every night that same bear came up and like
did you just shoot it?
No,
did you wrestle it?
I wrestled it with my bare hands one night. And as it was
you put on like gloves that are like bare hands.
And never underestimate the power of a pine cone, because I picked that thing up and I hurled it at his face and it just like stuck there and he ran off.
I'm surprised he didn't maul you. Like that would have been a much better story. Like that would have been a good way to end it. Like well, I was mauled by a bear, and like you're missing like half your face, and be like, well, there is the moral of the story is give the Funyuns to the bear, and don't try to fight it.
That is true. But yeah, other than that, it wasn't too bad of a vacation.
It wasn't too bad of a vacation. You didn't have to go to work. That's the moral of the story.
It was still fun. It was very stressful that first morning, but like I said, every night everybody's vehicle had a new paw print, on their vehicle. So he's very adamant. And then one night, Blake's wife had a little bit too much drink, so she decides to just open bananas and throw them out into the woods. I'm like, great. I think you're going to
get more bears.
I'm like, this is going to end well. I feel sorry for the next people who have to be at this cabin. They're going to be like looking out. There's going to be 4 bears just looking up at them and everything. But yeah, Tennessee was fun.
I've got a Tennessee song in my head, but I don't know the words to it. So I would just meow. Hey, everybody.
What's up?
Each and every week, we come to you with all the nerdy news that you need to know. You can get it early over on patreon.com/nerdcave. You can watch it live when we record it, just like our awesome Patreons do.
That's what we're doing today.
That's what we're doing right now, because they're awesome. And you can be awesome, too. All you got to do is toss us $1, make Robbie... and you get the live version of it each and every week. You can toss us a few more dollars, get the edited version, and all that good stuff before anybody else does. Yeah. All of that. And you get Let's Plays early and all the goodies that go along with that.
A lot of goodies.
And you get access to our Discord. I've set it up now that you have to be a patron to be on the Discord. So there you go.
That's the way to weed out those troublemakers.
Those heathens. You can get it all on Friday, YouTube version and podcast services around the world. Thanks to all of our Patreon supporters. We do appreciate you. Now, into the news, and we've got a ton of it. So hold on to your seats, you kittens.
And your caboodles.
Hellblade is selling above expectation, nearly breaking even for the developer. Hellblade was a strange experimental title in a number of ways. Not only was it something different, but it was an attempt by developer Ninja Theory of Heavenly Sword and DMC Devil May Cry fame to self-publish a title that was larger than most independent projects but smaller in scale than most efforts from major studios. This placed it in a league of B games from a budgetary standpoint that has fallen out of favor in recent years, as most developers opted to get bigger or break apart. Thankfully, the effort seems to be paying off. Speaking with GameBee's chief creative director at Ninja Theory, Tamim, blah blah, I don't know how to say this guy. Yeah. Said Hellblade has sold above the developer's expectation. I think it almost broke even, or it's about to break even in the next couple of weeks. We weren't expecting to break even for 6 or 8, 9 months on this game. It looks like within 3 months it will have broken even and then some. Ninja Theory plans to release more thorough sales breakdowns sometime soon. We want the data out there so developers, if they want to do something similar, they have the data point, hopefully to help encourage them to do more games like this. The title breaking even is a good news because the title was published by the developer itself, the company gets to reap all the benefits. We own the IP this time. It opened up a bunch of doors and possibilities that we just didn't have until this point. In terms of a model, I'd say it's a success. So what this tells me what this tells me is a lot of good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because this says right here, hey, you don't have to get in bed with an Activision. You don't have to get in bed with an EA or Ubisoft. You can make a game and it be successful on your own.
Yeah.
And me and Allie have played some of Hellblade on live stream. It is fantastic. The mocap is great. The story is awesome. Just everything about it is really, really good. And I just love that they're, fixing to start making profit on it, that they've already started breaking even on it. And that's a huge thing because so many developers sell out so they can, keep making their games.
Yeah.
But if you do well, if you put quality content out there, then that's all. That speaks for itself. Quality content will sell.
And that's the biggest point I'm taking away from this is it has to be quality. Watching y'all's live stream of this game, I think it just introduced something new. It had that super tight camera angle and everything like that, and it had the voices in your head telling you, "Oh, watch out!" Different things like that.
Yeah.
And I think with them about to break even, this game is well beyond what they thought it was going to be. I think Ninja Studios is going to be able to.
Is it Ninja
Theory?
Ninja Theory. My bad. Is going to be able to, further this game along and be able to come up with different games that they might not have to go through these big studios to be able to, push their game through. So Ninja Theory, I think a lot of different publishers and things can take a lot away from what they did with Hellblade.
Yeah. Congratulations, everybody, over at Ninja Theory. That is awesome. I am so thankful that there are developers like you.
Yeah.
So thanks for keeping gaming cool and without loot boxes. Speaking of a good game, and speaking, before I get into this article, Paris Games Week, PlayStation said last week it's going to be E3 Part 2.
Was it E3 Part 2?
In some ways. It was kind of like E3 continued, not like Part 2. It was like continued.
Part 2 is still kind of continued.
No, the reason I say that is like they played a little bit of they almost did Xbox at Gamescom where they pretty much played all the same trailers, but they did show some new stuff, but they didn't give me what I was hoping for, and that was dates. And I think they're taking the play out of our playbook of not announcing something unless you're ready to like ship it that day.
Which, I mean, it's smart. That's the way you need to do it. But still at the same time.
Like, at least a spring 2018, because like we're already thinking, like God of War is coming out in spring, Spider-Man's coming out in spring. So it's like we already kind of like know where these are going to be like placing and everything. But come on, get off the pot.
You can be vague about it. Like, like you said, it's going to be here in spring or summer or fall or something like that. I mean, because that gives you a ton of time in between the spring, the summer, the fall.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they took a paid,
they're listening to us.
Yeah, they had several where they had to like back off and had to delay games, and that's bad press. But I think we're just like now waiting a lot of stuff. But there was a ton shared at this conference, and we're going to be getting into more and more of it today. I do have to say, PlayStation took Paris Game Week seriously. Their stage looked great. It was just so good. And they had a pre-conference that really showcased that Sony is still focusing on the PSVR. That they're making games for it, that they're putting more and more on it, and that tells me a lot that this is not just a peripheral that is going to go away, which I'm glad, because there's a lot of people that bought a PlayStation VR. It's the most sold VR headset, and a lot of people right now are like, VR is about to be dead, but PlayStation, they put a ton of money into this system. They're still supporting it. They even put up a new updated version of the VR headset, and it's probably cheaper made, like the parts are a little bit cheaper now, but they did do they moved the headphone jack into a place where it's like on the actual headset, so it's easier to like plug in. So it's like plugged down here, and then it's like your headphones are not reaching you. So I'm glad to see that PlayStation is actually supporting the VR headset and making more games, not just experiences, but actual games for it.
And like I know Xbox had its issues with the Kinect,
which is dead.
Which is completely dead. But I think PlayStation VR can be so much more than what the Kinect was. They can be so much. It could be a great thing for the gaming industry. And I don't want to see PlayStation give up on it, which, as we've seen, they're not giving up on it. I want them to ride this pony as long as they can.
Yeah, and like I don't remember the titles off of it's Stifle and there's another one. It was very arcadey, kind of like Wii game, VR games that actually released that day.
Yeah.
Which was nice to see that they were like putting this is stuff right now. Stifle is kind of like Perception, where it's like you're blind and you can use echolocation and everything. But But it's cool to see that they're getting that support. Now, we're going to get into the thick of things. A lot of Paris Games Week stuff here. So, if you've already know all this stuff, congratulations.
You're about to learn some more.
I like you because you're cool.